Hi folks, how you all doing? Will here back once again. We're back for another fight card. We're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night 101 from the Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne, Australia, as the middleweights take centre stage as Australia's own, or I should maybe say New Zealand own, Robert Whittaker faces off against Derek Brunson in your main event. This card took some huge hits when Luke Rockhold and Zhikui Souza got removed from it. Rockhold got an injury and Zhikui got taken off, and the two fighters who I just explained who will be in the main event got promoted up there. Overall, this is one of the weakest cards of the year by far. I have got a couple of fights marked out which I really like. I like Ben Nguyen against Geane Herrara, and really that's kind of, there is Dan Hooker, Jason Knight's another one along with your main event, but overall it's not your best card. But these are also the cards that tend to be sleeper cards that end up producing really great fights. So we'll see how it goes. As always, follow the good guys down below me. Go support them. Come follow me on Twitter, WillMartin7MMA, and we can talk fights there all night long. So remember, leave your comments, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your picks below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Sorry the guys I didn't get back to last week. I was in Belfast. It was kind of hard to do, find the time to do that. So I apologise for that. But let's get straight into it. We're going to start off in the bantamweight division. We've got Marlon Vera against Ning, Guangyou. This fight was supposed to happen on a few occasions. I think there was a Vegas card, then it got moved to the Vancouver card, and then it's got moved again. Ning tested positive for something that was in his meat, which turned out not to be positive, and not in the banned list. It was contaminating the meat and stuff like that. I just like Marlon Vera. I think he's the more dangerous fighter, the more athletic, younger fighter who's just got more opportunities to win this fight. As long as he doesn't get grounded out down in the ground with Guangyou's grappling and wrestling, because that's what Ning will look to do. He'll look to take it down there and just kind of win rounds by smothering and blanketing Marlon Vera. But I think Vera has submissions off his back. I definitely think he's the better striker. He's the more faster striker. And better footwork as well, definitely the better footwork. And anywhere this fight should go, he's got a chance to finish. I do see him getting put in his back or put against the cage at some point, because I think his fight IQ is still lacking a little bit, but I do like him in this fight to stop the takedowns of Ning at some point and just do enough to kind of win the fight. But I'm going to go via decision, Marlon Vera. Light heavyweight division, we've got Tyson, Pedro against Khalil, Roundtree, both newcomers to the UFC. Know a little bit more about Khalil Roundtree as he was on the Ultimate Fighter show there, and he was probably one of the main guys they thought were going to win the show, and he got put out in his first fight against a teammate who was on the opposition team on Tough, and I didn't expect him to lose that one. He came back into it and got himself to the final there where he lost to Andrew Sanchez. But I watched some of Tyson Pedro just a couple hours ago there, and I think he's 4-1, if I believe, maybe 4-0 as a pro there, and big guy, 6'3", big heavy dude. But the fight footage that I've seen on him is not great. He's facing guys who are 0-0. Now I know he's coming from that part of the world in Australia where you're going to get guys like that, but you could see just how green this guy is. In the future, if he sticks around UFC long enough, I think that he could definitely keep himself around there and win fights in the UFC with a bit more. But I just think he needs more experience, pretty much. He needs to go out there. Probably, I don't know why he's kind of been rushing. He's only like 24 years old. For a light heavyweight, you could give him another 3-4 fights out there and bring him in 7-0 if I remember. I thought he maybe lost one in there. I could be wrong. But a decent guy. Decent striking, his grappling, he's a big heavy guy once he gets you down there, but there is holes. I mean, even down in the ground, that 0-0 fight, I managed to find his way out, but Pedro kind of stayed on top, landed heavy elbows, heavy shots, but this is definitely a step up in competition here. Khalil was, you've seen his fights, I think it was RFA, and this was a guy that I did hear about last year before he went on Tough. Underperformed on Tough, I thought there, but I like him in this one here. I think he can, if he just stays calm, doesn't rush things, uses footwork, I think he's got the more power, and just uses the fight IQ that I think he has, because I don't think he showed that in the show. So if he could just use that keep the young guy off, and the young man's obviously going to be coming in here looking to kind of blast through him. I think Khalil Roundtree can win this fight, and I can see him winning by knockout. So I'm going to go TKO mid-round in round number 2, 2 or 3 minutes into round number 2. Women's strawweight division, we have Hee Ham against Danielle Taylor. I will be picking Hee Ham here. Danielle Taylor made her debut against Marina Moroz, and that was a pretty bad style matchup considering how tall Moroz is and just how long she is as a striker as well. Danielle Taylor really had nothing for her and tried to come in and land some shots, but she was just always that little bit short. Should be a little bit different here against Hee Ham, who is the bigger fighter but is shorter than what Moroz is, and she will have opportunities to trade here and get in with some strikes against Ham here. I just think I like the experience of Ham. I think her output is going to be better. I think her shot selection is going to be better. And wherever the fight goes, I think she's got a definitive advantage. I don't think Taylor hits harder. I don't think she's a faster striker. I've seen Danielle Taylor being put out with one shot before. And before she came into the UFC, she did revenge that get that loss back right enough. But I think Hee Ham, she's always in the fight. I mean, she was in the fight with Beck Rollins. I thought that was a little bit of a shitty scorecard, if I'm being honest with you. She beat Courtney Casey, who I rate pretty highly. I think she's a decent fighter, and if she sticks around the UFC, she will beat some decent opposition in there. Joanne Calderwood, she gave her a little bit of trouble in Vegas. But I like her in this fight. I think her output's going to be vastly more than Danielle Taylor. I think she could get a finish if she could hit her with the right shot, but I'm going to pick decision for Hee Ham here. Flyweight division, got Zhikui against Jenal Lausa. Lausa's a guy I know from PXC. It's a really good organisation over there in Asia and Guam and stuff that put on some decent fights, and you've got fighters coming in who put on a good show like Russell Doan. They've had people in the past from that organisation. They always put on solid fights, so if you get a chance, check them out. And I like him in this fight. I like Lausa in this fight. I think he's striking. There is boxing videos of him on YouTube. He's got a Muay Thai background. Very, very fast. Hits pretty decently for a flyweight. The only thing I'm worried about is if he gets put in his back here, and that's a possibility against Zhikui, because that's what he's going to be looking to do. I think he does have submissions off his back, but I think Zhikui is a really tough guy to try and find submissions on. But I think that Lausa can do enough to win this fight. I really do. He's actually one of my more confident picks on the entire card. So I'm going to pick Lausa. I think he can stuff some of the... I think he will get taken down, but I think he can stuff the majority of them here and win a decision. So I'm going to go Jenal Lausa via decision, using his striking, stopping the takedowns, and just doing enough to win the fight. One of the best fights in the card, if not outside the main event, the best fight in the card. We have Daniel Hooker against Jason Knight. Jason Knight, I mean, that performance against Jim Aylas, he did get taken down 4 or 5 times, but I mean, that guy has got some tenacity about and just does not stop. And that's a big win. I mean, Jim Aylas was a former Cage Warriors champion. Don't think he showed all of his worth in the UFC, but Jason Knight won that fight. It was a split decision. I thought he definitely won the fight. He did enough there, and he's got himself a step up, I think, in competition here. I like Dan Hooker a lot. I think he's a really decent fighter to be fighting in that featherweight division, and he's only going to progress up that division, in my opinion. I mean, he came in against Dean Entwistle. I picked Entwistle. I thought he was going to catch him in that heel hook. Entwistle, like he does always, went for it, and then he got smashed out. He lost to Maximo Blanco, which was a really fun fight. I'll put that out there. Knocked out Hatsuyoki with a head kick. Yair Rodriguez was probably a step up too soon there, but gave a decent account of himself, and then he beat Markadiva with a beautiful guillotine choke last time out. I see this being fairly close, but I think if Daniel Hooker can use his length, he's got like a 5 or 6 inch reach advantage here, and use that jab away and look to try and find a way to take this to the ground. Now, I know Jason Knight is very, very difficult down there. He's pretty funky, but I think that Hooker's got those long limbs that if he catches in something, it's going to be very, very tough to get out of. And I know he's been doing a little bit of training at Team Alpha Male for this one, so I'm going to go Daniel Hooker. I'm going to go submission late round number 2. I just think those long limbs are going to catch him somewhere, and he'll get the submission victory here. So that's my pick for that one. Ben Nguyen against Gian Herrara. This is this could turn out to be a really decent fight. I mean, both guys, Ben Nguyen came into the UFC, blasted a couple of guys, Ryan Benoit knocked him out very, very early. I can't remember who the other one is. Maybe Oskalic, I think he might have beat up a little bit. And decent striking, really good striking. Very tough dude. Showed that in the Lewis Smolka fight, where Smolka really had the match for him on the feet. Once it went to the ground, it was all Lewis Smolka, and put him down and put him out with a beautiful submission there. Gian Herrera coming off a loss to Ali Bagautinov. I rate this guy. I don't think he's got the matchups to really show it yet. He had the knockout of Joby Sanchez, so he has got some power and some speed there to take his opponents out. And I actually like him in this fight. I'm seeing a lot of people for Ben to win. I don't know whether I've got. I think Herrera has got a lot more to show and hasn't showed it yet, or maybe it's just me overlooking him and I'm thinking he has more when maybe he's hit his limit in the UFC. But this fight will be close. I can see it being contested in the feet. I think Nguyen is the more technical striker, the better striker, but I think Herrera actually hits harder as well. Not much in it. But I'm going to go Gian Herrera. I think if he can try and mix up a game a little bit there, I know he's been an American top team as well. He's done a little bit there before flying back to where he's originally from. He is from Florida, so he went back to Tampa, but he was at American top team for a little bit there. I'm going to go Gian Herrera via decision. Not entirely confident of it, but I feel that this guy's got more to offer, and this might be the fight that he's going to show it. But Ben Nguyen is a really solid competitor, so expect a very close fight here, but I'm going to lean towards Gian Herrera. Welterweight division of Richard Walsh against Jonathan Meunier. Meunier coming in pretty short notice against Colby Covington, and that's a hard debut because Covington is a really elite grappler, and he's got really good wrestling skills who can take you down and kind of put you in his game there, and he did that and got submitted last time. But I like this fight. I don't rate Richard Walsh. I think he's only really being kept around for these UFC events in Australia down there. But I mean, I think he's lost 3 of his last 4. He lost last time out to Viscardi Andrade, where he got dominated pretty easily, and Andrade just kind of mixed everything up a little bit. Before that, he beat Steve Kennedy, which is not really saying anything. His 2 wins in the UFC are against Chris Endich and Steve Kennedy. Lost to Kuichi Kinomoto, which was a little bit, I thought maybe a little bit of a shitty decision, but he got knocked out by Alan Jouban at UFC 184. I just think that Meunier is the better striker. I think he has the better chin, first of all. I think if he catches Walsh with even something halfly decent, he can wobble Richard Walsh there. And yeah, I like Meunier. I just think he's the tougher fighter. Fighting at home for Richard Walsh could help him out here. But I don't know, I'm getting pushed towards Jonathan Meunier there. I think he's going to keep it striking, he's going to land some shots and put a little bit of a beating on Richard Walsh here. That's what I'm hoping, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go Jonathan Meunier via, I'm going to go TKO in round number 2. Lightweight division, Damien Brown against John Tuck. At the beginning of this, I was going to pick Damien Brown, but after watching some kind of tape, I'm going to pick John Tuck because he has shown that when he shows up, and that's a little bit saying something, because sometimes he doesn't show up, like he didn't show up in that fight with Josh Emmett. I think Josh Emmett took the fight to him and just got off first and hurt John Tuck, but when John Tuck gets off, he looks really, really good. So I'm hoping this is one of these fights where he does that. Damien Brown coming off that win over the knockout win in the first round again, I think Cesar Arrizamendia, which I thought was a really solid performance and a great finish. Got some power in those hands. I'm just going on John Tuck here, turning up and putting on performance, because he has faced some decent guys. I mean, he lost to Kevin Lee, Norman Park, say what you want about the guy. He's a tough fighter to face. I'm going to go John Tuck here. I'm going to go via decision. If not, maybe a TKO victory at some point. I'm more confident in the decision victory, so I'm going to go John Tuck via decision. Middleweight division, we have Dan Kelly against Chris Camozzi. I always pick against Dan Kelly, and every time he's won his fight. So I'm kind of thinking here, maybe I should go against him, but I think this is the toughest opponent that he's had, like veteran experience. I know he beat Antonio Carlos Jr. I thought Carlos Jr. should have really handled that one a lot better than he did. Kelly just, I don't know what it is, if he keeps it, if he stays in it, the guy, and if he stays in the fight, he's always got a chance to win here. And I know certain people think my man Dan Levy has been betting on this guy and been winning big money on him. So I like Chris Camozzi in this one. I know he's coming off Velocitalis Latiz, but I think that he's probably, out of all the people that he's faced, he's got the more kind of veteran experience. He puts everything together fairly well. He is tough. And these are the type of fights that Chris Camozzi generally looks really good in, like the Vita Miranda ones where he dominated that fight. This is the fight I think he can do that. He just needs to watch out because Dan Kelly's got kind of some underestimated power. He's got that. Obviously, he's got the judo skills. Competed in the Olympics not too long ago. Well, a long time ago, I should say, back in Sydney. I like Chris Camozzi. I think he can win this fight. I'm going to go submission victory for Chris Camozzi. I'm going to go late round 1. I think he's going to wither an early storm from Kaylee and catch a submission victory. Featherweight division, Yusuke Kasuya against Alek Volkanovski. Volkanovski making his UFC debut. Fights out of Tiger Muay Thai. Got some really decent striking, a really nice counter left hand, and just a fairly decent fighter coming in here in his UFC debut. Kasuya, he fought in his UFC debut against Nick Hein, and Hein's a tough fighter because he kind of grinds you out, and he does enough in the feet and he does enough in the grappling exchanges to win the fight there. I mean, Volkanovski in that fight I've seen against Jamie Malarkey, and there was a couple other ones I've seen as well, but he showed, he puts on a very good pace and he keeps going. He's fought 5 rounds before. I think that was a lightweight if I remember right there, and got the submission in the 4th round. But he does have some big strikes. Once he gets you down there, he just unloads with a lot of shots there. I think he can take Kasuya down as well and work that ground and pound. So that's why I'm picking Alek Volkanovski. I think if he doesn't get the TKO finish, I think that he will win a pretty dominant decision. So I'm going to go Volkanovski. I'm going to go a TKO in round. I'm going to go early round number 3. Welterweight division with Kyle Noke against Omari Akhmedov. I'm all over the place with this one. I was originally going to pick Omari Akhmedov, and then I watched some of his my prediction videos for his last few fights, and I was fairly kind of confident in him against Moraes. Nearly pulled out, got knocked out, and then he got knocked out. I think he's been knocked out in his last 2 fights as Akhmedov. So I just don't know if I can pick this guy. Aleski dos Santos knocked him out last time. I just don't know whether I can pick this guy again, and that's kind of saying something because Kyle Noke is not really at that solid a fighter anymore. I think he's on his way out. He's lost 2 in a row to Alex Morono, which I thought he should have won that fight, and Keita Nakamura, which he got submitted in. I think that he can he stop the takedowns of Akhmedov? I don't think he can, but I just think he might be the tougher fighter across the 3 rounds, and he's going to keep coming, and he might hit Akhmedov with something. So I'm going to pick Kyle Noke. Can he win a decision? I think he can if he can stuff takedowns, but I don't think he's overly great at that. I'm going to pick him. I'm actually going to pick him via TKO, and I think this could get very sloppy towards the end of round number 3. So I'm going to pick him via TKO in round number 3 in that one, but I think it'll be a very sloppy fight. Co-main event, Jake Matthews against Andrew Holbrook. Picking Jake Matthews here. A nice rebound fight after he's lost to Kevin Lee back in July, which I thought he would have given a better account of himself, but we've seen with Kevin Lee at the weekend, that guy is an underestimated fight. He's got his confidence back. I know firsthand. I've seen his fight. I spoke to the guy on numerous occasions last week, did a podcast with him. Really top class guy, and a guy that the lightweight division really, once he's only 24 as well, once he really puts all together, he's going to be a dominant guy in that division. Losing to Kevin Lee is not a mark on his record whatsoever. In a few years that'll turn out to be a defeat against a really good guy. But Jake Matthews has got like underrated jiu-jitsu, decent striking, beat Johnny Case in that 3rd round with a submission, which was a fine victory for himself there. Andrew Holbrook coming off his first loss of his career. Should never have won that Ramsey Nijem fight either. I just think in Australia here, this is a fight given for Jake Matthews here, so I'm going to pick him via TKO. I think his 2 losses, Kevin Lee and James Vick, both solid fighters in my opinion. So I'm going to pick Jake Matthews. I'm going to pick him via. I think he gets a finish. Don't know whether it be a submission or TKO. Probably TKO, but I'm going to go a finish. Maybe late round 1, early round number 2. I'll go late round 1. I'll go TKO in late round 1. And the main event of the night, Robert Whittaker against Derek Brunson here. Very good fight. I think it's a very close and well-matched fight. Derek Brunson's been on a streak ever since that loss to Yoel Romero, which if he lasted another few rounds, he was taking the scalp of Yoel Romero without a shadow of a doubt. And I mean, he's finished his last 4 fights, all via KO. He's got that mojo going with his strike. I mean, he's knocked out Sam Alvey. That's a tough thing to do. Ed Herman, beat Lawrence Larkin, Juan Carnero. Your last time out against Uriah Hall, he just put an absolute beating on him in that first round there. And that's tough to do against Uriah Hall, but maybe not so much because he has been stopped in his last 2 fights in the first round, so he might be fading a little bit. But big power, underestimated wrestling, big athletic kind of freak in that middleweight division. But he's against Robert Whittaker here, and I think in the past I've underestimated this guy a little bit, but this guy is a legit fighter. Very, very tough, very technical, very kind of gritty, and is just looking to put a beating on you and looking to kind of win the fight wherever it goes. Seen his last fight against Rafael Natal in Vegas, thought that was a really good matchup for him. Was very kind of dominant without getting the finish, but I've been going back and forth in this one because I think that Brunson is a talent in that division, but I think Robert Whittaker is actually the tougher fighter in this one, and fighting down in Oz, I think he's got that. He's going to have that advantage there. They're going to get behind him because this guy, I think he wins his fight. He probably faces Gegard Mousasi next, because Jacare, I think, is next in line after Romero. Wyman's in that kind of no man's land. I don't know who'll he face next. I'm going to pick Robert Whittaker, and I think he could grind this one out. I think it'll be very close. I think I can see Brunson using that wrestling and grappling fist to take him down, but I can see Rob stopping that, stopping a few of those takedowns and catching Brunson with that clean striking that he has, because he does have some clean strikes in his repertoire, and some really nice combinations there. If he can get in close to Brunson, I think he could put a little bit of a beating on him in that, and some of the exchanges, and he could knock out Derek Brunson. I've no doubt about it. I think this guy's got underestimated power as well. I'm going to go Robert Whittaker. I'm going to go a 5-round, very close decision, 48-47 for Robert Whittaker there, and he will move himself up that middleweight rank. So that's my fights here. That's my predictions for these fights here. I will be back next Monday. I will release my predictions for the tough finale where Demetrius Johnson defends his belt against the winner of that show. If you haven't been watching that, it'll be a decent fighter who is facing off against Demetrius there. Come follow me on Twitter, WillMartin7MMA. Leave your comments down below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next week.